What's up everyone, and welcome back to the Bold and the Beautiful 24 official channel. Before we begin, please hit the subscribe button today. Let's get started. Brooke gives Ridge one last chance as Nick makes his move, and Lee gives a big hint about Luna. Ridge, Brooke, and Eric are enjoying the miracle that has occurred as the recovery of Liam continues to be the topic of conversation at the Forrester Creations offices. Is it not odd that no one on the canvas was informed that Liam had cancer, but that everyone now knows about his recovery? After delivering a not-so-subtle speech about how short life is, Eric shows Will's video about the company's connection to Italy and Brooke. Brooke mentions that she might invite Nick now that the trip to Italy is back on. Ridge, apparently believing he's in charge of who can and cannot visit the country, says his rival's not invited. Ridge describes Nick as someone who is self-centered and arrogant and takes advantage of every circumstance, including Brooke, once he is alone with Eric. He does this, which is amazing, without even a hint of irony. Ridge correctly suggests that Eric wants him to dump Taylor and reunite with Brooke. Eric suggests that if Ridge isn't careful, Nick will steal Brooke right out from under him. Although Eric enjoys Taylor, he is aware that Brooke is Ridge's true love. Ridge says Brooke wouldn't fall for Nick because he's fake and full of false bravado. However, it is abundantly clear that Ridge is concerned about what will occur. Brooke responds that Ridge is correct because Nick is the right man for her when she says that Nick is not the man for her. She remembers that time he returned and she spotted him at the top of the water staircase and the time he saw her through the keyhole in Italy. She then says the truest words ever uttered: "This is ridiculous. Why is this taking place? We can no longer take this." Can Nick reclaim Brooke's heart? Nick pays Brooke a visit when he arrives at the design office. They quickly end up talking about the past, and he says that she needs a man who is only interested in her, which is definitely not Ridge, in his opinion. Nick claims that he went back to Los Angeles to see her. Although his mother, Jackie, is mentioned admirably, Ridge and the fact that he is not the right man for her dominate the conversation. Nick says he's thinking clearly and knows how he feels. He tells me to go to Naples with you. Let me show you the Naples I know. He wants to take her to shipyards. Building a boat is similar to handwriting a love letter. Each varnish brush is like following the curves of your lover's back, slow, delicate, and very intricate. Brooke claims that she never considered it in that way, but who has? Nick says he's building a cruiser and wants to take her out on the water to see how the sun kisses your beautiful skin. By suggesting that I might even allow you to wear my captain's hat, he adds to the temptation. He calls Italy to check on his project alone in the design office, then looks at a picture of Brooke and thinks back to their wedding. Will Ridge take Brooke's deal? Brooke goes back to the main office and talks to Ridge, saying this trip won't be the same as the past. She suggests that Nick's presence might be beneficial. She reminds Ridge that Taylor follows you wherever you go, which makes Ridge bristle. Why can't I have a partner? She adds that he's engaged, and it's not right for him to suggest she can't have someone in her life. Naturally, Ridge tries to imply that he would accept her having a partner, but not Nick. Brooke reminds her ex that this is all because Ridge wrongly felt betrayed when she became CEO. It was all a misunderstanding, she says. Despite him hurting her by running off to start a life with Taylor, she is willing to forgive him. She warns that this is the last chance. I'll just bring Nick with me to Italy if we can't do this. She literally begs him to come home to her. Is Lee concealing a very important secret? Deacon discovers Sheila working on inventory from a seated position with her 8-toed foot propped up. Soon, for no apparent reason, Lee stops by, and the conversation shifts to Luna. As the grandmas attempt to justify Luna's actions, Deacon is appropriately shocked. He says that the girl shot and killed 2 people before getting a miraculous second chance to take hostages and kill 2 more. Lee makes it clear that she blames everything on Penelope and her poor mothering skills. If not for Poppy, Luna would have had a happy life. Sheila is amazed by Lee and their love for Luna. They are all preoccupied with Liam's recovery, and they don't even talk about Luna, as Sheila complains. Lee says that there won't be a service for Luna, as it's already happened. Gee, you mean the way there was no service for Finn, who wasn't actually dead? Sheila wishes she had been aware so that she could have bid her grandchild farewell. Ridge and Nick push each other's buttons. Daphne surprises Carter when she returns from Paris, and Brooke gives Ridge one last chance to make things right in the Bold and the Beautiful. The storm that was brewing at Forrester Creations was not one that could be quenched with design sketches or silk swatches. Rather, it was a matter of the heart, legacy, deception, and one final opportunity for redemption. As sunlight streamed through the beveled windows and the hum of a functioning fashion empire pulsed through every marble hallway and boutique boardroom, Liam Spencer's miracle recovery from his fabricated diagnosis continued to send emotional shockwaves across Los Angeles. But while everyone busied themselves with grateful smiles and champagne toasts over the good news, more complex tensions unfurled behind closed doors, tensions that could undo decades of love, rivalry, betrayal, and the deepest scars of the past. Ridge Forrester, long regarded as the creator of chaos and couture, was seated with his father Eric and former and possibly future flame Brooke Logan in the sunlit Forrester office, smiling faintly as Will's sentimental video about the company's legacy played across the screen. Over a soft piano score, a beautiful montage of rolling Tuscan hills, sketches that flutter in the wind, and Brooke in iconic poses against Italian sunsets brings everyone back to the past and dangerously suggests the possibility of a future no one expected. Life was too precious to waste on pride and misunderstandings, and Eric's voice, full of fatherly wisdom and lightly veiled agenda, cut through the moment. He saw Ridge keeping an eye on Brooke even when she wasn't looking. He observed Ridge's trembling when Nick Marone's name was mentioned. As a result, he persuaded Ridge that Nick would do what Ridge had always feared, take Brooke away permanently if Ridge wasn't careful. Ridge tried to ignore it, bristling with the bravado of a man who had lost before and was terrified of losing again. He referred to Nick as arrogant, manipulative, and a phony man of charm and bravado. The irony, of course, hung thick in the air like one of Forrester's velvet gowns. Ridge had spent years manipulating hearts and hopping between women like stepping stones. Nick's return was no accident. He could smell competition. Meanwhile, Brooke, standing tall, graceful, and impossibly radiant in her fitted cream blouse, remained calm, even amused, as Ridge spat half-truths and transparent jealousy. Her heart, long torn between men and the battle between passion and peace, seemed steadier now, wiser. Ridge heard her say, "You're right. I don't want Nick in my life. Because you are the man I want. However, only if you are willing to acknowledge it." She recounted the memories the time Ridge returned from one of his many absences and she spotted him at the top of the water staircase. How her breath caught when she saw him through the keyhole in Italy. Those ridiculous, romantic, poetic moments that defined them, that stitched their history together in ways neither of them ever truly escaped. "This is laughable. Why is this taking place? We're too old for this," she whispered. But even as she said it, her heart raced. Because love never ends. Additionally, neither keeps unfinished business. Nick then entered the design office just as the heat of the moment threatened to boil over. He greeted Brooke with the confidence, charm, and scent of salt air and nostalgia of a man who had never let go. Their banter was warm and easy, but Nick's intentions were serious. He reminded Brooke of the man he once was, the man who had loved her deeply, fiercely, and without pretense. He said she deserved a man who was only interested in her. Not a man like Ridge, who always had one foot in the past and the other in Taylor's orbit. Nick talked of Naples, of shipyards, of building vessels not just of wood and varnish but of love and memory. He told her, his eyes fixed on hers, building a boat is like writing a love letter with your hands. Each varnish brush follows your lover's back's curves. It was lovely. Over the top. Maybe even a little absurd. However, Brooke did not laugh. She smiled, tilted her head in thought, and allowed herself to be in awe. Because wonder is the first step toward possibility. Nick stated that he was building a cruiser and wanted her to ride in it. Not just for a ride, but for something that will last longer. "I might let you wear my captain's hat," he even joked. Alone later, Nick dialed a number overseas, checking on the progress of his ship, gazing at a photo of Brooke, flashing back to their wedding. He wasn't bluffing. Nick Marone was making his move, and Ridge knew it. Brooke again confronted Ridge in the Forrester main office. This trip to Italy was more than just a runway show. It was a crossroads. She told Ridge it might actually be better with Nick there. Ridge made a predictable scowl. She responded, "Taylor follows you wherever you go. Why can't I also have someone?" Ridge attempted to spin the situation by claiming that he wasn't against her having someone, just Nick. That's when Brooke laid it all bare. All of this tension, this divide, started when Ridge misjudged her over the CEO debacle. He fled. He picked Taylor. Without giving her a chance, he turned away. Yet she was there, still willing to forgive, still opening her heart. But only one last time. "This is it," she said. "If we can't do this now, if you can't come home to me, then I'm bringing Nick to Italy. And I won't look back." Her voice shook, not with fear, but with resolve. This was Brooke's final offer. Ridge also sensed the walls closing in. On the other hand, a darker mystery was brewing while love triangles were raging on one side of the town. At Il Giardino, Deacon Sharp found Sheila Carter seated with her bandaged foot propped up on a chair, scanning inventory logs with the disinterest of a woman pretending everything was fine. But Sheila wasn't the real surprise. That came when Dr. Lee Finnegan walked in, cool, composed, with eyes sharper than scalpels. Luna came up soon in the conversation. Deacon, exasperated and fed up with the revisionist empathy, reminded them that Luna didn't just make a few bad choices. She had killed 2 people, then shot 2 more. Yet somehow, Sheila and Lee, 2 women who had once loathed each other, found common ground in their defense of the troubled young woman. Lee, in particular, made it clear that she blamed Penelope for Luna's downfall. "If not for Poppy," she insisted, "Luna could have had a happy life." There was venom in her voice, but also something else: regret, bitterness, maybe guilt. Sheila, always quick to sniff out secrets, was surprised by how tightly aligned she and Lee seemed in this one rare moment. Lee casually revealed the shocking truth when Sheila mentioned the memorial for Luna. The service had already taken place. Quietly, privately, no commotion, no family, just done. A simple farewell. Sheila blinked. "So no one thought to tell me? I'd have said farewell to my granddaughter." But was Luna really gone? Sheila remembered all too well how Lee once faked Finn's death and funeral. Is this just another ruse? Is Luna really hidden or buried? Lee's face did not reveal anything. However, the cryptic responses, inability to elaborate, and timing of her appearance made it extremely suspicious. Deacon narrowed his eyes. Something didn't feel right.